If this is a small taste of what's in store for the future, then I'm on board with the prospect of ultra-thin phones. Samsung's the first out of the gate with the Galaxy S25 Edge, an unbelievably thin phone at 5.8mm that can only be appreciated seeing it in person. Not surprisingly, it has me captivated because this slim phone is rich in features that make it a worthy best phone contender, including a 200-megapixel main camera, 6.7-inch OLED display, and Snapdragon 8 Elite chip. But at the same time, I am torn because at $1,099 it's intruding on Galaxy S25 Ultra territory, so I'm left wondering if the trade-offs with the Galaxy S25 Edge are worth it. This is only the start, so it will be interesting to see how other phone makers respond to this trend. In my Galaxy S25 Edge hands-on review, I'll tell you what features stand out to me the most and whether or not its thin construction is enough to pull me away from today's flagship models. Does a thin construction warrant a hefty price point? This is the argument at the heart of Galaxy S25 Edge, which starts at $1,099 for the base model with 256GB of storage, or you can upgrade to 512GB of storage for $1,219. This phone doesn't come cheap at all and will make anyone really think twice about its value, but I can say if it's worth the high price until we have put this device through its paces. The Galaxy S25 Edge is $100 more than S25 Plus and $200 less than S25 Ultra. You get 3 color options to choose from: Titanium Silver, Titanium Jet Black, and Titanium Icy Blue. Out of the 3, Titanium Icy Blue certainly stands out the most for its piercing color, but it won't matter as much if you intend on putting a case over it. The Galaxy S25 Edge pre-orders are available right now, with Samsung sweetening the deal by taking on a $50 credit and upgrading you to the 512GB model at no additional charge. It will be widely available starting on May 23 from Samsung and other carriers nationwide. I've been using the Galaxy Z Fold 6 over 6 months now, and what's interesting is that it's actually just as thin as the Galaxy S25 Edge at 5.6mm, but that's when it's unfolded. When it's closed, however, the Galaxy Z Fold 6 measures at 12.1mm thick. Size-wise, it's definitely not as long or wide as other flagship models, making it slightly easier to use one-handed. Against the Galaxy S25 Ultra, which comes in 8.2mm, the Galaxy S25 Edge is roughly 31% thinner. I'm actually astounded most of by the weight difference between the two. The Galaxy S25 Ultra feels overweight at 7.69 ounces, whereas the Galaxy S25 Edge tips the scales at just 5.75 ounces. For a phone that's this thin and light, it still feels incredibly solid in the hand. That's due to its sturdy titanium frame and Gorilla Glass ceramic too covering the display. Even with its thinness, it doesn't feel fragile and still gets the same IP68 rating as the S25 Ultra. While all of this makes the Galaxy S25 Edge an engineering feat, I don't have the same reaction as other thin phones I have seen in my lifetime. Yes, it's the thinnest Galaxy S device ever, but it doesn't rival the feeling I got seeing the original Motorola Razr or when Apple introduced iPod Nano. The Galaxy S25 Edge features a 6.7-inch AMOLED display with QHD Plus resolution, which is actually the same as the Galaxy S25 Plus. It's a good size, complete with a skinny bezel all around the display and a small notch for its selfie camera. Samsung hasn't disclosed what this panel is rated for, but it packs all the qualities I love about Samsung's displays, like wide viewing angles and piercing colors. I loaded up a 4K HDR clip on YouTube, and honestly it looks very much like the Galaxy S25 Ultra. It also benefits from the same adaptive 120Hz refresh rate that makes animations and scrolling with the interface so buttery smooth. The true test will be how bright it gets, because the Galaxy S25 Ultra achieved a peak brightness of 1860 nits. Even if it doesn't quite reach the same level, it still looks great for what most people will use it for. I honestly believe that the Galaxy S25 Edge is in a tough position mainly because of how it's priced and other compromises it makes in order to achieve its thinness at $1099 US. It's $200 more expensive than the similarly sized Galaxy S25 Plus and $200 less than the Galaxy S25 Ultra Flagship. Battery life is clearly the one area where the Galaxy S25 Edge is at a big disadvantage. You could argue the same for its cameras, but I think its dual camera setup can still pack a punch. Yes, I'm willing to overlook not having a dedicated telephoto camera just as long as it makes do with pixel binding techniques to effectively reach the similar results. You can't take away Samsung's accomplishment here in creating a flagship phone that's bonkers thin compared to anything else around, but it doesn't leave me with much of a lasting impression. If it was exactly like the Galaxy S25 Ultra in every way, camera included, but in a much smaller and lighter package, then I think I'd be more impressed. But it's not. This isn't a generation-defining change like the Moto Razr or iPod Nano. Then again, there's still chance the S25 Edge could sway my feelings once it's properly tested. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.